So hey guys, so here's our ethics presentation on clickbait in journalism. Here are the reporters, Therese Lim, yours truly, and Stephanie Lim.
Hello.
So what is clickbait? It derives from you clicking on the article. It is a headline that lures you into reading a story, tricks you into opening an image, video, or article link. It's a clever way to get more traffic. And the downside of it is that it's associated with fake news and those spam sites that only want traffic.
Been rumours that you've been linked with a young transgender model called Sophia Hutchins. True?
So this is an example of clickbait. People are more likely to click on a trivial story like it. So in the 19th century, newspapers were fighting for circulation numbers the same way social media sites compete for clicks today. American newspaper editors Pulitzer, who owned the New York World, and Hearst, who owned the New York Journal, were engaged in a circulation war in the mid-1880s. Pulitzer increased his newspaper circulation through the publication of scandal stories. Soon enough, he had a competitor when Hearst acquired the New York Journal in 1885. Their newspapers had neck-to-neck sales, and to compete, they started over-dramatizing and altering the news to fit into story ideas. Because of Pulitzer's scandalous stories, he earned the honor of being the pioneer of yellow journalism. Now the battle of the yellow kids began, and Pulitzer found a way to boost his newspaper. So he introduced a popular comic strip created by Richard Outcault in his newspaper. So they often use the yellow kid to sensationalize stories and discredit the leads of other newspapers. Because of Kid's popularity, the strip's presence increased paper sales for the world and crushed the rival newspapers. Both of them started giving their competing yellow kids more space. The competition became so tense that these newspapers were turning daily boring news into groundbreaking events. So here are the sample pics of the Hogan Alley comics featuring the yellow kid.
All right, so now we'll be discussing about the pros and cons of clickbaiting. Next. Number one pro, rules of the game. So this is a system that all of us are used to and have programmed in our minds. Even those that are pro, amateurs, and non-pro like ordinary citizens are doing it. So if you want to stand out amongst hundreds of media producers and consumers, you need to have a fighting chance by spreading your word out there through clickbait. The second one is effective social technique. Next slide. You wouldn't be able to successfully break through online without these three things: page views, social shares, and viral hits. Clickbait is designed to be easily clicked, thus also prone to sharing, since it's socially friendly and dabbles into our emotions. The third pro is enlarged brand awareness. So clickbaiting also helps visitors and audience remember and be familiar with our content because it's eye-catching. And as they see it through time, they'd eventually put this established trust with our organizations. So next one are the cons. The number one con is wariness towards sensationalism. So we've been doing clickbaits and yellow journalism for 2 centuries, as mentioned a while ago. So by this time, all of us have grown vigilant and tired of it as well. So it's easier for people to click out if they discover that they're being decepted. The second one is scar image and disrupt trust. So if people are being lied to, they can easily avoid our work and just dip. That will result in high bounce rates, which will negatively affect ranking in search engines because Google or other search engine sites out there has this sort of sensitivity to keywords. The third one is insignificance of page views. Through time, there's different algorithms that we follow to measure success. Right now, page views have become insignificant. What's more effective now is, as you see in the screen, attention web and total time reading metric. Next. The last one is media site penalties. So media sites hate clickbait since it's kind of connected to ad scams, which blocks their processes in their websites. So they made additional regulations to stop it from getting inside their system. So this one is just an example. This is the policy made by Google in 2020. So they provided specifications on how they evaluate contents. Next. This is another specification involving negative events. I'll just give a brief description and history about BuzzFeed. So, BuzzFeed is a digital media company established in 2006, which produced many shareable news and their signature listicles. It is founded by these three people. In 2021, BuzzFeed News was able to gather the following awards. However, people still don't believe their articles online because they are already connotated with a negative view. So, BuzzFeed has also branched out in various networks out there. Number one is BuzzFeed Originals, which, as you can see on the examples, these are the one responsible for creating articles, videos, and quizzes like this. Next one is BuzzFeed Media Brands, and this is like a portfolio of identity-driven lifestyle brands. BuzzFeed Studios, which produces original content across various media platforms. BuzzFeed News and HuffPost, they are responsible for reporting and investigative journalism. Lastly is BuzzFeed Commerce. This is the one responsible for developing products, licensing, and other partnerships.
BuzzFeed has laid out a new set of standards for a new generation of media. And here are the two intentions of their document on ethics and new standards. In this part, we only included standards in relation to clickbait journalism. First is fact-checking. Reporters should be accurate and editors are expected to raise questions they have for their writers. Information and facts. Information should come from a verified source. Wikipedia, IMDb, and other websites that anyone can edit should never be used as sources in a story. Lastly, plagiarism. Nothing may be passed off as one's own work, including press releases. Second section is the legal and ethics. Under it is photography. Original photos should not deceive the reader. So here are a few examples of the common headings. The Ultimate Guide to Blank, X Ways to Improve Your Blank, A List of the Best Blank in LA, The Secret to Blank That Will Change Your Life Forever, Why We Love Blank and Why You Will Too, and You'll Never Guess What Blank Did Last Night. First is the concept of the ultimate news jack. This technique is to borrow on topics that are viral or trending to give someone's article more attention or clout. Some examples of the ultimate newsjack headlines such as an article about Ashley Graham and Cheryl Tiggs and Donald Trump. So first is this BuzzFeed article regarding Kim Kardashian sharing St. West's first photo. With this, BuzzFeed has kicked off by piggybacking with a very famous celebrity. Next, they use the word first, which implies novelty, and we humans love new stuff. It also alludes and hints at something unseen that the audience should desperately want to see.
When I was a freshman in college, I made a ton of money in what I can only describe as the weirdest of circumstances.
Alright, so this is an example of clickbait that BuzzFeed posted on their YouTube. The premise is about a girl talking about her freshman college days and how she was able to get money from scams by giving her driver license identification and buying game tickets. So these are the following comments that can be found in the comment section of the video. Next. I also agree with what the commenter said that this video is clickbait because of the following reasons. Number one, it's totally not accidental. The girl willingly went to 3 sketchy meetups, gave her driver license details herself without questioning the motive of the people who asked for it, despite fully acknowledging and thinking that it might be a dangerous situation. The second reason is because this is totally not a scam. The people she worked for were ticket resellers. It's a legal business. The reason why they needed a college student was because it's for a student lottery system. We're now going to be discussing about the ethical dilemma we thought about clickbait in journalism. The first one is, why is it okay to clickbait? And the second one is, why is it bad to clickbait? So why do I think clickbait is good? I brought about 4 reasons as to why. Let's first discuss the first reason. Ethical clickbait exists. So clickbait is seen negatively because it's associated with fake news and misinformation. However, not all clickbait are misleading. Some are just underperforming and overpromising. As long as you supply such alluring headlines and thumbnails with the appropriate content and real value, bring people benefit and not cause them any harm, it's ethical clickbaiting. Innate curiosity gap. So clickbait headlines are already structured in a way that makes one curious about the actual post, since it's either vague or leaves something out.
Trying to get signatures to get people to recycle. I will do my best
to throw my recycling
in the blue recycling bins
and not in the black trash bin.
All right. So there are times when materials that are misleading have benefits, like this video from BuzzFeed, where the title makes you think that the mean employees are trying to become a nicer person. But it's actually an educational and informative video about how to make less environmental waste and learn how to recycle. The last one is cost effectiveness. So there's plenty of ways out there on how to publicize yourself. However, many are costly, like pay per click advertising, which is something that only companies or financially capable person can do.
So BuzzFeed has laid out the restrictions imposed with clickbait journalism. Yet BuzzFeed, using clickbait on some of their article and video headlines that turned out to be misleading, states otherwise. According to the Code of Ethics, the following should be practiced by all people in all media. Here is why clickbait is bad, especially in the field of journalism. Misleading information. Here it deceives users intentionally. In this category, we can include fake news. We can also highlight content with incorrect information in the title just to gain clicks. Most of the time, this information has no connection with the rest of the material. Repeated information, this is another strategy wherein users they realize that all the information is merely copies of other material. Incomplete information, a strategy wherein they post summarized information about content they find on other websites just for the clicks and money. Lastly, exaggerated information, the best, the greatest, the most recommended are just common calls many articles or videos use, and they use it to convey the impression of having greater authority and to generating traffic. But instead of offering true information, they use these expressions to make the audience curious.